Have you ever just stared at a big column of numbers in Excel and thought, what are you even trying to tell me? Well, today, we're going to make those numbers talk. We are diving into the box and whisker plot, a super powerful tool that can show you the big picture hidden in your data, like instantly.
Okay, so you've got your data all lined up. That's awesome, that's step one. But the real trick, right, is getting from that raw list of numbers to actually understanding the story behind them. So let's do that.
I mean, just think about your own work for a second. It could be anything, really. Quarterly sales figures, maybe some customer survey scores, or even a list of test results for a class. A plain old list of numbers is just, well, it's a list. It doesn't really show you the full picture at a glance, you know? You can't see the spread, or where most of the values are clumped together, or if there are any really weird, unusual numbers, the outliers. And that's exactly where the box and whisker plot comes in to save the day. It might look simple, but this chart packs a serious punch. It tells you a powerful story about your data's range, its middle ground, and its overall spread, all in one neat little package.
So, how does it do all that? What's the secret? Well, its entire structure, the box in the middle and those two little whiskers on the end, it's all built on just 5 key numbers that summarize your entire data set.
Yep, that's it. Just 5 numbers. The whole plot is basically a picture of these 5 values. It's an incredibly efficient way to get the vibe of your data without getting lost in all the details.
All right, let's break these 5 down. So those whiskers on the end, they stretch all the way from the absolute lowest number, the minimum, to the highest one, the maximum. The box itself holds the middle 50% of all your data. It starts at the first quartile, Q1, and ends at the third quartile, Q3. And that line you see inside the box, that's the median, the true middle value of your entire set.
Okay, enough theory. Let's actually build one of these things. Seriously, you're not going to believe how fast you can make one in the newer versions of Excel.
The process is just ridiculously simple now. You just select your column of data, pop over to the Insert tab, click that statistic chart icon, and choose Box and Whisker, and that's it, you're done. Excel does all the heavy lifting, all those calculations automatically in the background.
Now, once you've got the basic chart, Excel gives you some really cool options to tweak it and customize what it shows. This way, you can really tailor it to what you're trying to figure out.
If you just right-click on the chart, you can get into the Format Data Series menu, and this is where you can dig in. Want to see every single data point plotted out? You can turn that on. Need to spot those outliers? Excel will highlight them for you. You can even add a special marker for the mean, that's the average, to see how it compares to the median. Pretty neat, huh?
Now, to really appreciate how awesome and easy this is today, let's take a quick trip back in time and see how we had to do this in older versions of Excel, like 2013 or 2016.
Back then, there was no built-in button for a box and whisker plot. No way! You had to build the entire chart from scratch. And let me tell you, it involved a ton of calculations and some pretty clever chart tricks. First off, you had to manually calculate all 5 of those summary numbers yourself in a separate little table. You had to use formulas like min, max, and quartile.enc just to get the basic building blocks. But wait, you weren't done. Oh no. After that, you had to do a second round of calculations to find the differences between those values. You needed these numbers just to figure out how big each piece of the box and the whiskers needed to be.
And then finally, you had to actually build the thing. You'd start with a stacked column chart, then you'd have to make some of the parts invisible, and then you'd manually add these custom error bars to create the whiskers. It was this whole clunky, time-consuming process.
So what's the big point here? Well, this incredibly powerful kind of analysis, which used to be for people who were willing to go through all that hassle, is now available to pretty much everyone. It's a game changer.
With a modern box plot, you can just see the story. Is your data all bunched up and consistent? You'll see a short, tight little box. Is it spread all over the place? The box and whiskers will be long and stretched out. Are there any strange outliers you need to check out? Excel just plots them as separate dots so they can't hide. You can see all of this in a single glance.
Honestly, with the newer versions of Excel, this statement is absolutely true. It puts some really complex, insightful charts right at your fingertips, and it basically turns you into a data superhero.
So we'll just leave you with this final thought. Now that you have this powerful tool in your toolbox, what new stories are just sitting there, waiting to be discovered inside your own data? Go find out.